Des Moines Register is out with a brand new poll conducted by Jan Selzer's firm. This, as you know, is the gold standard of polling in Iowa, and it shows Vice President Harris with a 3-point lead over Donald Trump in that state. Harris has the support of 47% of likely voters to Trump's 44%. That result within the margin of error.
A gulf had opened up between the Jewish minority and the general population. The latter, while not mobilized around strident and violent anti-Semitism, was increasingly apathetic, passive, and indifferent to the fate of the former. Origins of the final solution. Yeah. Slowly but surely, you increase the pressure that you and you consistently dehumanize the outgroup over and over again, and people just kind of turn a blind eye. This is why I am genuinely terrified about the liberal rhetoric surrounding the issue of immigration. With no counterbalance, with no pushback whatsoever. What about the squirrels, though? What squirrels, man? Shut the fuck up. Oh, my God. Why are people so goddamn annoying? What is that? The fucking one squirrel that was euthanized or some shit? I know, it's fucked up, okay? Shut up. Yeah, they killed the squirrel. I know, it's really fucked up. I agree, but like, time and place, dude. Fuck me, Jesus Christ. Oh my God, some of you are literally the Hawk Tua understanders in the chat. How is it any different than that shit? It's just like literally another another one of those things that like coworkers love and talk about endlessly and relentlessly, and fucking chatters are badgering me with it. It's viral on the conservative side of Twitter and has not broke through to the liberal side. Nobody cares. I just like don't understand why we're having this conversation right now.
Joining us now, pollster Jan Selzer.
Coworker ass chatters in the fucking chat. Jesus Christ.
All right. Jan, obviously you are bringing, we're coming on air right now with this polling, and I mean, we could just put it up on the screen for folks, because I didn't have this on my bingo card, as I like to say. Vice President Kamala Harris, 47%, Donald Trump, 44%. Take us inside your poll. What is new here? We know that there's a majority of Iowa men in this poll that say they prefer Trump. A majority of women prefer Harris. Among likely Iowa voters, this seems like something is happening.
It does seem like something's happening. Now, we've been living with the numbers day by day as we've been gathering the data. So we've had a little bit of time to get over the initial shock. You know, Iowa is a very Republican state. There's only one person at statewide office or federal office who is a Democrat. So to have the presidential candidate lead by a substantive margin was shocking to begin with. One of the reasons she is leading is because of her strength with women generally, even stronger with women age 65 and over. Her margin is more than 2 to 1. And this is an age group that shows up to vote or votes early in disproportionately large numbers. So it's a bit of the boost that Kamala Harris has gotten this time.
You know, for me, this is very telling of a lot of the effort and the importance of a little thing called ground game. And when a campaign...
Okay, why are you talking about Iowa? What kind of... I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm wrong on this, but what kind of fucking ground game does Iowa have for the Democratic Party? Is there like a tremendous amount of work and tremendous amount of effort being placed? Maybe tomorrow and today... But, like, what is the Democratic Party's ground game in Iowa? I'm sure they're pumping a shit ton. You're wrong. I'm sure they're pumping a shit ton of ads. They have a lot of money, dude. The Democrats have a lot of fucking money. The leftover Obama squad put in the BAM bag together. Local Iowa Dems have been working hard, to be honest. Don't they have infrastructure there because of the Iowa caucus? Surely there's lots of volunteers there. What is this? Ohio Sheriff's Lieutenant in hot water as a social post. I'm sorry. If you support the Democratic Party, I will not help you. And the problem is that I know which of you supports the Democratic Party, and I will not help you survive in the end days. That's awesome. That's so fucking funny. Dude, these people are so... God, I love hogs so much. Why do I love hogs so much? Oh my God. Oh my God, I love my fucking hogs. Oh, wonderful. Fantastic. Yeah. Did you see Trump coping about Iowa? Yeah. Yeah. I know. We're gonna get there. Hold on.
Coming in with 107 days to make the case to communities across the country, and we know the importance of communities like ours. Iowa is a bellwether, particularly as you get closer to the election, as it is in the beginning, right? So here we are at the end. What's your take on that aspect of this, that the numbers have changed so dramatically from the 18 points that Donald Trump had to now Kamala Harris over Joe Biden, the 18 points, to now having Kamala Harris up by 3?
It's, clearly there's something going on here if our poll numbers are correct. And it's the same method that I've used really since I started polling. So we have a good accuracy rate. We're comfortable with what it is that we do, which is to allow our data to reveal to us what's happening with the future electorate. So that may be the little lucky charm here, is that we're able to uncover the change that's happening on the ground. We certainly know anecdotally, as you drive around the metro area, you see far more, I guess I'd say far fewer Trump signs than we've seen in past cycles. But, it's hard to put too much faith in that. So now we have some hard numbers. We'll see. I will just mention that neither of these candidates gets to 50%. So there still is some swing left to be determined on election night.
It has been fun to watch all of the folks who follow polls on Twitter try to decide what your poll means for other states. And so I wonder, when you look at white voters specifically, if you think there is something in your poll that you can extrapolate out to Michigan, to Wisconsin, to Pennsylvania.
Well, as your graphics are showing, there is clearly a gender gap there. Iowa is predominantly white, so there's not much analysis we can do on the non-white vote. But I think what it does say is that polls that are deciding that they know what the future electorate looks like may be basing it on past electorates. And in some cases, that would give Harris an advantage, and in some states, that would give Kamala Harris an advantage, or some would give Donald Trump the advantage. So we'll see how that plays out. I just feel like these numbers represent, our last poll in September had Trump leading by just a 4-point margin, when Joe Biden back in June had lost by an 18-point margin. So we're certainly seeing an upward, almost linear shift in the Democratic strength in Iowa.
Jan, I just want to note that the only Democrat elected statewide in Iowa, Rob Sand, when your poll came out, he texted me, and Rob has been saying for a very long time, he is the state auditor, that there have been many close losses in Iowa, and Iowa is in fact a place that's in play for Democrats. And this poll to me indicates perhaps Rob Sand is right, by putting in the work, infrastructure, as Chairman Steele just noted. Have Democrats made Iowa more competitive because of their presence there, and also the issue of reproductive rights?
21% shift because of abortion seems a bit much, though. The only way to analyze this is, one, the women voters, older voters in general, and also the fact that Trump might be depressing Iowa voters with his rhetoric in general. But abortion is pretty consequential. Abortion is pretty consequential, and Donald Trump is running a dog shit campaign. The Democratic Party really hasn't done shit here, and honestly, the state party hasn't done much shit either. More the local county party apparatuses. We hate our governor, so we've been trying to flip our local Congress. That possibly trickled up to the top of the ticket. Source, M. Iowan.
Because that was something that bubbled up on the ground throughout the state, namely led by the governor herself.
Right. Well, I would mention that Rob Sand is that one Democrat elected statewide. So he's got his finger on the pulse of what's happening in the Democratic Party. As we were trying to determine, this is a very short poll because there's no time left to write lengthy stories with lots of data in them. So we don't have as much data as we might like about why this is happening. But our
farmers fucking hate Trump. He actually ruined their lives for years. I've heard this a lot, but like, if that was the case, then Donald Trump wouldn't have gotten 53% of the vote in Iowa to Joe Biden's 44%, 45% of the vote. You know what I mean? Like in 2020, Donald Trump still won Iowa convincingly, right? So I have heard this argument. That tariffs weren't popular for the farmers. But you also have to remember, like, there aren't that many of them. That's number one. And like, it demonstrably did not move the results. And you also have to remember, a lot of these rural voters are not fucking farmers, okay? They just LARP as farmers, but they're not. Yeah, hold on. Let's just finish this and then I'll get to like the way that Trump is behaving and why I think it's like hurting him. Okay? Because Donald Trump is also going kind of crazy. He's going nutty mode and it's not good. It's not looking too good for him in Trump world. Trump world is coping pretty fucking hard on this shit. And yeah, we'll do Hogwatch later as well, okay? Let's continue.
Census from the reporters who work this beat
I haven't done
is
SNL
that the
yet.
6-month abortion ban went into effect just this past summer. And so I think as Iowans are starting to see the consequences of that, I think it has gotten people interested in voting. The thing we noticed in our September poll that shrunk Trump's lead by 14 percentage points, he lost no actual ground. He had as many respondents supporting him in September as he had in June, but the size of the likely voter pool had increased, and most of that 85 respondents went to Kamala Harris.
So Jan, let's talk about sort of the why, because that's the world I like to live in as a former party official. Is okay, why are voters doing what they're doing? Organization, as we just talked about, you and Simone, that sort of planning that is all good and smart. It's all critically important. But the why narrative tells us a lot of the inside thoughts of the voters. And there are two aspects of the messaging here that feeds into the why. For the Trump people, the narrative that they tried to get up and out in front of voters was, are you better off, right, than you were 4 years ago? For the Harris campaign, it was a different kind of approach. It was, okay, I want you to size the two of us up. And you tell me which one you think is going to be better suited to take care of the nation's interests over their own. And I'm curious as you look at, I'm sure you're going to peel back on these numbers a little bit more, but do you get a sense of the why in that space that the voters looked at the messaging here as a way to sort of the carrot that led them to where we are right now?
Well, I think that question about are you better off, that people tend to think, well, that's your pocketbook. There are other ways that people are not better off. And again, I go back to the Dobbs decision and the 6-week abortion ban, which put women of childbearing age into some danger zone. Some might feel it's that way. The thing I need to point out, and it was pointed out to me by one of the Register reporters, is that this change, I think, is largely organic. That is, the presidential campaigns haven't visited. They're not putting money into this state. So that it's not that this is something that has been created by the campaigns themselves. Iowa, I think, was largely written off, which is why this poll is such a surprise. So I think there's something more organic that people are deciding for themselves. This is the time I'm going to get off the bench. I'm going to show up, and that it appears from my data.
My boyfriend is a registered Republican and he has stupid head ass Trump stickers on his car. He said to me today, don't worry, he's not going to win. Damn. Another truth nuke. Another truth bomb coming in hot. Trump supporters are depressed. She's saying what you said 5 minutes ago, lol. Yeah, because I mean, she's a pollster and I understand what the fuck she's talking about. I already gave you the analysis as to why these people are you know, these people are fucking popping off.
That is happening more on the people deciding to vote for Kamala Harris, the
Stop
Democratic
jacking
candidate.
yourself off. What do you mean?
As a former pre-med student at Johns Hopkins University, I appreciate organic chemistry. Jan Seltzer, thank you so much.
Yeah.